Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Today I want to do a flip through of a textile journal that I made for myself. And I followed two different videos on YouTube, and I will link those in the description box below. One was to make the actual journal itself with textile pieces, and the other was how I did the cover. So I'll link those in the description box to give a shout out to the people who made the original videos. But I wanted to show you my journal that I put together. So let's get started, and I'll show you this beautiful journal, and it's got kind of a Victorian vintage sewing theme. So here's what the cover looks like. There are pieces of material layered that have sewing things like sewing machines, old sewing machines, threads, needles, corsets, needle and thread, stuff like that. There's antique buttons, lots of antique buttons. There's a red glass, that's a mirror back or a mirror button, some little applique pieces, lots of layers of lace and things. That was a rubber stamped image, and this piece was a snippet that I had created, and I just thought it would look cute on this book. So it has some things that are kind of not related, like here's this cute little tree of life that you flip up and look at, little flower underneath, mesh, lots of different things, a little bird cage on the back. So things like that that kind of do and don't go with the theme, but it just looks really pretty in the layers. And I added lots of antique buttons, and here's what the spine looks like. I used binder tape to do just a 3-hole binding stitch to bind the actual signatures into the soft cover. And then this is what the back looks like, and on the back, those are some of those pieces that I just did a video on doing waxed ephemera, and I added 2 of the vintage looking sewing image ones that I had layered and waxed, and I sewed them right to the back part of the cover. And this beautiful lace here, this is what's called cigar band lace. This was given to me in some happy mail by Marie. Thank you, Marie. I have loved adding that to this journal. It just looks so pretty on this journal. So that's the cover, and it ties together with binding thread. I just punched holes in the front and the back and tied the binding strips through to make a closure for the book. I lined the inside of the book with material that had vintage sewing patterns on it. That material came from Hobby Lobby. A couple of years ago I purchased that at Hobby Lobby. So here's the first page of the book, and it's got another one of those waxed images of a corset, some silk ribbon and a bow. This cute button here came from Sabine in Austria when we did an exchange a couple years ago. This was a rubber stamped image. This is a tag that slips down into this cloth pocket, so I can actually pull it out and journal and stick more journaling behind this. So this is a functional page that I can actually do journaling on. And this next page has got a metal pair of scissors as a charm, a little metal button. This is really vintage trim, old trim that I had received in a jar of antique buttons back when I was collecting antique buttons. This is just a cute piece of vintage material. And then on this page I added antique buttons to this page. It's kind of a mix of antique and current day buttons, but there's some curved pearl, black glass, some steel points, bubble top glass buttons. There's all kinds of vintage picture buttons and antique buttons. That is a china, hobnob china. So just really fun buttons layered, and I made a little card that says I love antique buttons because I totally love them. Used to be in a club and collected them, and it's fun to use them in my journals. This next page is so cute. I love this page so much. I think it's my favorite page in the book. I took a piece of material that had a dress form, and I padded it and stitched it, hand stitched it to make it like a raised applique. dress form. And then I added lace to the bottom. It's got doilies and things underneath it. It's got this vintage metal piece that I think used to be a tie clip, and it's got little rhinestones in it, very, very old. This is an old tassel that has black glass beads all around it. So it's just a really pretty page. And then on this side, there's this decorative pocket that has metal pieces on it, and I've put charms. So it's got a old sewing machine, a pair of scissors, a button, a rose hanging from the metal pieces, and it created a pocket. So in the pocket I put some old vintage buttons. I always add a dragonfly to every book that I make for myself, so a little dragonfly ephemera, some cute ephemera that has vintage sewing things on it, and then a card that pulls out that I can actually do journaling in, because I wanted to make this a book where I actually journal in as well. And then I use these tabs that are cloth, and I sewed them on, and they say the word sew. There's layers and layers of lace. This next page is a really fun little pocket, and it's got those waxed images on it. It's got all kinds of ephemera in it. A lot of this maybe, or I think, are those Tim Holtz pieces that have sewing type theme to them. Here's another waxed sewing ephemera piece that I made. So it's just tucked away in the pocket. This little envelope has little tiny cabinet cards. It has little tiny cabinet cards in it. This came from the Happy Mail from Marie. Look how gorgeous these little miniature cabinet cards are in this little glassine bag. So I've got those tucked away in this little pocket. It just was a great place to put those. They're so pretty. I love them. Love them. That was a really fun bunch of Happy Mail. So that's a pocket that I can tuck things behind and write in and do things with. These cute bookmark girls, these came from these came from Judith in Australia. So I decorated them and added these two bookmark girls. They're so cute, and they look really cute in this little doily pocket. This says "See the Good in Everything," so just a cute little tag tucked into that little doily pocket. And then this next page, I have "There Are So Many Beautiful Reasons to Be Happy," a little rubber stamped image of a sewing machine, some more of that material that were dress forms, and I put a silk ribbon bow on it, layered some more of that beautiful lace from Marie. This side I made a decorative paper clip, so this is the hidden paper clips. And I put some of that fun ephemera that I created with the waxed ephemera on one side and on the other side, so that it slips over and it holds in this cute little book that I can journal in. So I just put some pages in that. There's an old garter snap. I just thought that was just really cute to add to the book. And then I can put this hidden paper clip right over this, and it holds in the little journaling book. This page has a book that pulls out. I can pull this book out, and it's journaling. And it's something I really want to read and share with everybody. It's just kind of fun. To sew or not to sew. When I was growing up, my grandmother was the queen of sewing. For many years, she used an old treadle machine. I was enthralled watching her foot subtly rock back and forth, and the sound of the machine was thrilling. She later invested in expensive, more modern sewing machines and traded in the old treadle machine. What I would give to have that machine now. She tried to teach me to sew at an early age, first by hand and then on machine. I never loved it. She made our clothes as children all the way through my high school years. My graduation dress I wore under my graduation gown was made by my grandmother. Later, when I was married and I moved away, she still made handmade sewn things for us as gifts, floor pillows, pillowcases, and beautiful knitted and crocheted afghans. When I was in my 30s, I asked her to make a quilt with me. We started it together and we never finished it. And years after she had passed away, my aunt, who was an avid quilter, finished it for me and gave it to me as a surprise. I cherish it. It hangs in my kitchen. It has sunflowers on it. Now I'm in my late 50s and I love to make snippets, fabric collage, journals, and I use all the lessons she taught me so many years ago when I was a little girl. I thank her out loud and hope my handcrafted works honor her. She would be so pleased to see me using vintage machines and creating items with needle and thread. I even have a hand crank sewing machine. Thanks, Graham. I love you so much. I'll see you again someday. So that was the to sew or not to sew journaling that I added to my book. So to this day, I'm so grateful for the lessons that she taught me. So this is a cute little dangle that's on a chain. This was given to me by my mother. She made this cute dangle and I added a sewing machine little ephemera piece to it so it hangs from the top of that little envelope. And that envelope is, I put that in using eyelets and then sewed this whole piece in as an extra into the book. So here's the back side of that hidden paper clip so I can tuck things behind there. Here's a cute corner, a little corner stacked piece where you layer things. Some more of that beautiful cigar band lace from Marie. I made a little tiny, this is another paper clip project. And it's a little paper clip booklet. So it hangs on a paper clip. It has a little scissors charm on it. It's held together by a little brass paper clip. It's got buttons on the front and I can journal in this as well. It's so cute. I just love this little book. So the little book hangs by the paper clip. And then I added another piece of ephemera that I made. That was from a rubber stamp on cardstock, and then I waxed it. This is a nice old piece of vintage trim. I love that trim. You can tell that's probably from the 50s. And this is a little charm. And I used a brad to attach one of those ephemera pieces. Over here I have a pocket. Here's another paper clip. And it has as time goes by, and it's got another dress form, and then behind it it's holding this pocket that I sewed, that I stuffed with all kinds of little bits and pieces of ephemera. And there's things in here like dress reform. By the 1860s, some women had begun to rebel against the restrictions of heavy-boned corseting and the restrictive clothing of high fashion. I just thought that was really cool. And that just came out of a book, Textiles and Costumes, so I made it into a little bookmark tag. And there's papers to write in and things, and then they tuck behind this hidden paper clip. Here's another one. This is a hidden paper clip, and it's the hidden paper clip one where there's a secret writing space, so it pulls out and you can journal in there, and when you close it no one would know it's there because the paper lines up, and I have the word secrets and a corset on it. And then behind it I have tags that I made for journaling, and another paper clip. This was another decorated paper clip that you do a different way and you wrap around the paper clip. And this cute little ephemera book, I love this, it's so cute. And I added it to the book with a little Tim Holtz brass clamp, and it's a little journaling book that came from some happy mail from Judith in Australia. It's just adorable. I love the vintage lace and the pieces of doilies. And then I added a Clark's cotton spool tag to her little pin with a tag. That's just so cute. And you can write in it and journal in it. So it's clipped here. This page has a corner. I made a decorative corner and stuffed it full of tags and things. And this is about dress form mannequins. And you can write on the back. And just snap out of it already, and I have some vintage snaps on here. I thought that was kind of cute. And a layered tag that I made with some vintage stuff. And this sticker came from someone that is watching my YouTube videos, went on my Amazon wish list and sent me these vintage women's stickers. They're so cute. They're vellum. So I layered that onto a tag. And there's paper you can write in. So I plan on journaling in this book too. I love this page. Look at this pile of yummy, yummy goodness. There's a cute collage. This is another one of those hidden paper clips, but this time I put it on the bottom so you can tuck things in this way. And I just made little tags. I've got some vintage ladies, some things about dress forms, more things about bustle back dresses from the 1890s and corsets. And then this was a dress from 1910. And here's an article about it. So pretty. And then I can journal on the back of that. So they're all just tucked behind this hidden paper clip at the bottom. And then on the back side of it, same thing. You have the paper clip on the opposite page. And I decorated it, and I did some layered tags to put behind that one too. More of those stickers. I love vintage things. And this is layered. I did a collage on this page. It's a collage of little bits of this and that. These are K & Company sticker tags that I rubber stamped and distressed. That's another one of those vellum stickers. There's book text and music note text. And on the back I put lined paper so that I can write in that. This is an envelope that was printed, and it's got an old sewing machine on it, so that's why I used it. And it came also from Happy Mail from Marie, and I stuffed it with pieces of paper folded that I can journal on, and made a little booklet out of it. So there's papers in between, and this came from her as well. Look at this beautiful envelope. This is so pretty and delicate. I just love that. I'm going to put a little journaling piece in there. And then there's more papers and ephemera and things for me to write in and look at. So they all go in the little pockets to the envelope that I made out of folding that paper bag in half and then cutting this end of it off. And it has a vintage sewing machine on this side. And then on this page, I used a little coaster doily, made some ephemera, put in some little ephemera bits that I found, and made this cute tag to put on it. This came from Judith in Australia as well. This cute little beaded tag. We exchanged some things at Christmas time, and I got that cute little beaded dangle, so I thought that looked cute in here. I love using things that people send me, and I love putting them in my own journals because it's just, to me, energy is gathered when it's touched by other people and it's something that they sent to you and it becomes meaningful. It has lots of positive energy to it. It's just something I believe. So putting those things in my journal just brings me so much joy. So here's a cute piece of material that's got an old treadle sewing machine like my grandma had. And some more of those little beaded pieces. A pocket in the back out of material. There's a vintage sewing machine. A dress form. And then a tag that says the end, because that's the last page of the book. So the pages themselves, what I used for my pages, you'll see in the other video that I followed. For the pages, if you can see, I used textile material that actually is upholstery material that was in a book of upholstery swatches that came from like a paint store, and I just took out all the vintage upholstery pieces and then made it into the textile book. So all the pages are upholstery. If you look at the material, you can see that it's upholstery, and I really love it. It's just so neat. I'd never made a cloth textile book before, so when I looked for it on YouTube and I found that other lady's video, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and that I had this upholstery material, so that's what I did. And then I layered it with lace and pieces of material and things, and then built it up like she did too. She put tags from a tag exchange, and so it turned out just really nice. I'm so happy with it, and I can still journal in it and write in it, but it's just so lovely and fun. So I wanted to share it, and hopefully it'll inspire somebody else to give this a try. And then the cover, like I said, I'll put a link to how to make this cover, and it's actually made from a dust jacket from a book, and then you put material over it, and then you just kind of do your collage over it. So that's my flip through of my textile fabric journal. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Until next time, go make art. Art soothes the heart.